Asterisk fire if you believe in heroes who exist on ordinary roads doing extraordinary things. Like and subscribe right now. You're about to see a moment of pure humanity that changed a child's life and inspired millions. This story is absolutely incredible. Asterisk. Highway 40 runs through rural Colorado, stretching for miles through beautiful but isolated landscape. It's the kind of road where you can drive for an hour without seeing another vehicle. It's where truckers spend long days watching the horizon, where the world feels both vast and lonely. Marcus Chen had been driving trucks for 23 years. He was 54 years old, with graying hair and weathered hands that had steered countless vehicles across thousands of miles. He knew Highway 40 like the back of his hand. He knew where the dangerous curves were. He knew where the rest stops were. He knew the rhythm of the road. On a Thursday afternoon in July, Marcus was driving his big rig loaded with construction materials, heading toward Grand Junction. He was about 100 miles from the nearest town, in an area where cell service was spotty at best. The highway was empty except for his truck. He saw something ahead that made him slow down. A boy, maybe 9 or 10 years old, was standing on the side of the road, frantically waving his arms. Behind him was a woman. Both of them looked panicked. The boy was crying, his face streaked with tears. Marcus had driven this highway long enough to know this wasn't normal. In 23 years, he'd seen maybe 3 times when people flagged him down. His instinct told him something was seriously wrong. He downshifted the truck and pulled over, parking it on the shoulder with the air brakes hissing. He opened his window. "Help us!" the boy screamed. "He's after us. He has a gun. Please help us." Behind the boy and woman, Marcus could see dust rising on the highway behind them. A car, moving fast, approaching quickly. Marcus made a split-second decision. "Get in. Now!" he yelled. The woman, who Marcus would later learn was named Sarah, grabbed the boy's hand and ran toward the truck. The boy was sobbing, barely able to keep up. Marcus jumped down from the cab and helped pull them both into the passenger side. Once they were in, he slammed the door shut and immediately began moving the truck back onto the highway. "What's happening?" Marcus asked, keeping his eyes on the road as he accelerated the massive rig forward. "That's my ex-husband," Sarah gasped, terror in her voice. "He had court-ordered visits with our son, but he was supposed to return him yesterday. He didn't. He sent me a message saying he was taking Marcus out of the country. He's taking my son. I went to pick them up and he pulled a gun. I grabbed my son and we ran. He's chasing us." The boy, Marcus, the child, was pressed against his mother, tears streaming down his face. "He was so angry," Sarah continued. "He said he was going to take Marcus and I'd never see him again. He said nobody could stop him because he had money and connections. When I tried to get to my son, he pulled the gun. I just grabbed Marcus and we started running. We flagged you down because we didn't know what else to do." Marcus looked in his side mirror. The car, a black sedan, was indeed following them, trying to pass on the highway. The driver was gesturing wildly. Marcus made another decision. Instead of pulling over, instead of trying to negotiate, he kept driving. But he also grabbed his CB radio. "Breaker, breaker," he said into the radio, using the trucker communications channel. "This is Marcus on Highway 40, about 100 miles east of Grand Junction. I've got an active kidnapping situation. Male driver in a black sedan, looks like a 2020 BMW, trying to pursue me. I have a woman and child who are fleeing an armed kidnapper. I'm heading toward town and I need police to intercept. Can anyone relay this to dispatch?" There was a pause. Then another trucker came through. "Copy that, Marcus. I'm 30 miles ahead of you. I'm calling state police right now. They are sending units your way. Keep that rig between you and that sedan. Don't stop." Marcus nodded even though the other driver couldn't see him. He pressed down on the accelerator. A loaded big rig doesn't go fast, but Marcus had been driving long enough to know how to handle it on the highway. He kept his truck steady and moved it forward. Behind them, the black sedan was trying to pass. The driver honked repeatedly. He was screaming out the window. But Marcus wasn't letting him get beside them. He understood what was happening. This was a chase, and a big rig was actually a pretty good way to protect people who were in danger. For the next 15 minutes, it was a tense game. The black sedan would try to pass on the left. Marcus would move the truck slightly left, blocking him. The sedan would try the right. Marcus would move right. The driver was becoming increasingly aggressive, honking, flashing lights, gesturing frantically. Inside the cab, Sarah held her son close. Marcus tried to keep them calm. "We're going to be okay," he said, keeping his voice steady even though his heart was racing. Help is coming. Police are on the way. Just stay calm. Stay down if you need to. Thank you, Sarah said, her voice shaking. Thank you for stopping. Thank you for believing us. He told me nobody would help. He said he had friends everywhere. He said he'd make sure nobody believed me. I believe you, Marcus said simply. And the law is going to believe you too. Behind them, the situation was escalating. The sedan's driver was now playing a dangerous game. He was driving aggressively, trying to cut off the truck, trying to force it off the road. On a highway in the middle of nowhere, with a woman and child in danger, it was terrifying. But Marcus had been a truck driver for 23 years. He'd faced difficult situations before. He kept his hands steady. He kept his eyes on the road. He kept the big rig between the sedan and the woman and child who were depending on him. Other trucks began appearing on the road, responding to the CB radio call. There were now 3 trucks between the sedan and Marcus's position, creating a mobile barrier on the highway. The trucker community, hearing the call for help, was responding. They were protecting one of their own and the people he'd helped. Then, finally, Marcus saw them. State police cars ahead, lights flashing. 2 of them, positioned to block the road. The black sedan saw them too. The driver's behavior changed immediately. He slowed down. He moved away from the truck. The state police pulled him over. Immediately. What happened next unfolded quickly but felt eternal to Sarah and her son. Police cars surrounded the black sedan. Officers approached with weapons drawn, treating it exactly like what it was, a potential violent felony in progress. The driver of the sedan, Sarah's ex-husband, David, was pulled from the vehicle. He was arrested immediately. A search of his vehicle found a loaded handgun, exactly as Sarah had described. He was charged with kidnapping, aggravated assault, and weapons violations. Sarah and her son were taken to safety. Police officers took statements. Marcus gave his account of what happened. The police officer in charge, Captain Rodriguez, shook Marcus's hand firmly. "You did something remarkable today," the captain said. "You put yourself in danger to protect people you'd never met. That takes character. That takes courage. You're a hero." Marcus felt uncomfortable with the title. "I just did what I thought was right," he said. "I saw a kid in danger. I couldn't not help." But the story didn't end there. One of the state police officers had filmed the entire chase from their vehicle, getting it all on dashboard camera. Another officer had been present and recorded the arrest on body camera. The incident was documented from multiple angles. And when these videos were released to the public, they went viral. The clip of Marcus's CB radio call, his calm, urgent voice explaining the situation, spread across the internet. The footage of the big rig blocking the sedan, of the trucker community responding to protect one of their own, of the arrest at the end, all of it resonated with people. News outlets picked up the story. Local news became regional news became national news. Within 48 hours, the story of Marcus Chen, the truck driver who'd saved a child from kidnapping, had been seen by millions of people. Social media exploded with praise. Truckers who'd responded to the call were interviewed. Dispatchers talked about coordinating the response. Police officers praised the community's involvement. And Marcus, a man who'd spent 23 years driving quietly and without recognition, suddenly became famous. What happened after went beyond viral video recognition. The trucking company Marcus worked for gave him an award and a promotion. He received letters from across the country from people thanking him for his example. Schools invited him to speak about doing the right thing. Foundations created scholarships in his name. But more importantly, Sarah and her son got their lives back. David was convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison. Sarah was awarded full custody of her son, with no future visitation rights for David. She got a restraining order. She got her child back safely. 2 years later, Sarah reached out to Marcus through social media. She asked to meet him. When they finally did, she brought her son, Marcus, who was now 12 years old. "I wanted you to meet the real version of Marcus," Sarah said to the truck driver. "Not the scared boy you saw on that highway, but the kid he's become because he knows he's safe. He's in a good school now. He's got friends. He's healing." The boy shook Marcus's hand. "Thank you for saving my life," he said simply. "My mom told me what you did. You could have ignored us. You could have driven by. But you stopped." Marcus felt tears in his eyes. This was the real reward. Not the viral video. Not the social media recognition. But seeing that this child was safe, was thriving, was alive because of a choice made in a moment. The viral video had made Marcus famous, but the real story was what it represented. What can happen when ordinary people decide to act? When a truck driver decides that a child's safety is more important than his comfort or his schedule. When a community of truckers decides to support one of their own. When law enforcement responds with professionalism and coordination. One person, stopping for one child, changed everything. The deeper meaning, what this story teaches us. The story of Marcus Chen teaches us something crucial about human nature and our responsibility to each other. In a world where we're often told to mind our own business, to not get involved, to protect ourselves first, Marcus chose differently. He heard a child screaming for help. He could have ignored it. Plenty of people would have. It would have been easier to pretend he didn't see, to assume someone else would help. But he stopped. That decision, to stop, to listen, to believe, to act, is what made all the difference. It's what saved a child's life. It's what brought a kidnapper to justice. It's what restored a family. And what's remarkable is that Marcus wasn't a police officer or a social worker or a trained rescuer. He was a truck driver, an ordinary man doing an ordinary job. But when faced with a choice, he chose to be extraordinary. This is the lesson for all of us. We don't need special training to help people in danger. We don't need special authority. We just need to be willing to see when someone is suffering and to respond. We need to trust our instincts. We need to believe people when they tell us they are in danger. The viral video aspect of this story is interesting too. In our modern world, what goes viral shapes what we remember and what we value. In this case, something genuinely good went viral. A story of human kindness, of courage, of one person making a difference. In a world where so much viral content is negative, this was a reminder that goodness exists and that it matters. The video had another effect too. It educated people. Viewers learned about kidnapping, about how to spot it, about how to respond if they witness it. The case of David and Sarah became a teaching moment about custody violations and parental abduction. Marcus's actions modeled how to respond effectively and safely. For truck drivers specifically, this story elevated them in public consciousness. Truckers are often invisible, just like the firefighter and janitor we've heard about in previous stories. They are the backbone of our supply chain, the people who move goods across our country, and they rarely get recognition or respect. But this story showed truckers as what they truly are, people with hearts, people with courage, people who care about their communities. And for anyone watching who might be in a situation like Sarah's, experiencing custody violations, kidnapping threats, or any kind of family violence, this story offers hope. It shows that there are people who will help. It shows that systems exist to protect you, even if they sometimes seem broken. It shows that speaking up, asking for help, and trusting strangers who respond to your call can literally save your life. For anyone watching who might witness someone in danger, this is what you do. You stop. You listen. You believe them. You help them get to safety. You call authorities. You do what Marcus did. And for anyone watching who might be tempted to commit violence or to kidnap or to abuse, this story shows that communities respond. That there are consequences. That there are people watching and willing to act. The most powerful thing about Marcus's action was that it was simple. It wasn't complicated. It wasn't dramatic. A man saw danger. He responded. He used the tools and abilities he had available to him. His truck, his CB radio, his willingness to put himself between danger and innocence. And it worked. That's the real lesson here. You don't need to be a superhero. You don't need special powers. You just need to be willing to stop and help. You just need to care enough about another human being, especially a child, to put yourself out a little bit. And the rewards for that, they are immeasurable. They are visible in the face of a child who knows he's safe. They are visible in the gratitude of a mother who got her son back. They are visible in a community that came together to protect one of their own. That's worth more than any viral video or social media recognition. That's real. Fire final call to action. Did you see how Marcus Chen's decision to stop and help changed everything? His simple act of kindness went viral and inspired millions. But more importantly, it saved a child's life. If you believe in the power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, like and subscribe right now. Let's build a community of people who believe in stopping to help, who trust their instincts, and who refuse to ignore someone in danger. Drop a comment and tell us, have you witnessed someone in danger and helped? Have you been helped by a stranger? Share your story of human kindness and courage. Share this video with anyone who needs to be reminded that we all have the power to make a difference. If you or someone you know is experiencing kidnapping, custody violations, or family violence, please call the National Human Trafficking Hotline at 1-888-373-7888 or text HELP to 233733. There are people ready to help. Hit that notification bell so you never miss stories about heroes among us. We've got more incredible stories coming about ordinary people doing extraordinary things. But for now, remember this: your choice to help matters. Your willingness to stop and listen matters. Your action can literally change someone's life. See you in the next video. *.